Now, there are some important. Hey guys, it's Nicole here again with another video on how to ensure that you have a smooth project. So, hey guys, it's Nicole and I'm here to go over some essentials to ensure that you have a successful project and to set you up for success. So as a project manager, especially as someone who got into project management when a lot of the resources that a lot of people currently have, i.e. TikTok, were not available. And a lot of people weren't really showing you how to create some of these documentations and some of the documentations that you need. Now, as quiet as it is kept, you don't actually need a degree, nor do you need true experience in project management to be a successful project manager. You just need to know the best practices in how to actually create the documentation that's going to ultimately set your project up for success and to cover your own A, okay? So with that being said, I'm going to show you some of the documentation that I personally recommend always keeping in your toolbox, and some of the documents that I feel like you should always create no matter what project it is, whether it's an Agile Scrum or if it's a waterfall project, you should have these documents. One of them is going to be a project charter. So in today's example, we're going to do a transition from Google Sheets to ClickUp as the project. This is a sample project. I have done something similar before, so I'm extremely familiar. Project charters, what are they and how do you use them effectively? So a project charter should be a standing document, and it should not be a living document. If things change within the project charter, I cannot emphasize and stress enough that you do want to get the signature from the primary stakeholder, the decision maker, whoever is signing off and saying, yes, this project is a go. The purpose, the objectives, the definition of done is exactly what I'm looking for. And if anything changes with that, they should be willing to sign off on it again in another version of the charter. The reason why this is important is because if you are the lead project manager on an extremely expensive budgeted tool like ClickUp, an Asana, a CRM like a HubSpot, where the company is dishing out hundreds of thousands of dollars in order to ensure that this is implemented. And that is only specifically for the tool. That doesn't include things like the effort hours that you and the team behind you have to put in. You want to make sure that you're covering your butt when it comes down to knowing exactly what it is that they are looking for and the definition of done for that stakeholder, that project sponsor. Because just because you may have an idea in your head does not mean that they will. So some of the key things that you want to have in this is going to be the version. The version is so important because, like I said, let's just say you get done with this project charter and they sign off on it, and midway through the project, they want to actually include something else in scope that's currently not in scope. This is going to change your timeline, and that timeline is going to be important because it's going to also change the expectations of your milestones. Now, keep in mind, again, this is supposed to be a bare bones type of sheet that if anyone starts within your organization and is reporting directly to you, or they are added to your project team, they can go over this project charter, see exactly what the goal is, who's in charge of it, who is the key stakeholders, and what exactly they should be helping and assisting with at a very, very high level, okay? So this is going to be a little bit different because we're transitioning from Google Sheets to ClickUp. So right now we're using Google Sheets and we're going to be using a project management software. Most projects you can manage directly out of your project management software. Now there's two ways to go about this, and you can go with whatever recommendation works. You can either roll out the project using Google Sheets as the primary project management software, or you can buy the project management software, i.e. ClickUp, and then create a project within ClickUp to roll out the software to the rest of the organization. It's totally up to you. Again, please write in the comments. Let me know how you guys want to see this done. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to keep it short, sweet, and concise and show you some of the things that you absolutely want to include in your versions. So you want to include the version. So let's just say this is V2 now. And again, you want every single time there is an update to this project charter, you absolutely should be sending it off to whoever is signing off on this. You want to include the key stakeholders. These are the decision makers with their name, their email, their title, and the impact level. Martin Lawrence is the CEO of the company, and he has a low impact to this because he does not use Google Sheets, nor does he use ClickUp on the day-to-day, but he needs to be involved because it's his company. Whereas Sammy Smith, he's the director of ops, and he's high impact because him and his team uses Google Sheets on the day-to-day, so on and so forth. And you can add as many of these as you need to. And you can even add department if you want to. I just try to make this as simple and straight to the point as possible. You definitely want to get a purpose in here because this is where you're going to draw your purpose from your business use case. Sammy proposed this to Martin, and Martin approved it. Within that approval process, Sammy created a business case. So he created a slide deck showing the importance of having the project management software, and he highlighted some of the pain points and some of the things that it's going to solve and how it's going to be scalable, essentially. So going forward, you want to show the objectives. So because Sammy highlighted that information in that deck and Martin approved it, though the objectives are going to stand similarly to what's in the deck. Something that's super important, in scope versus out of scope. Martin has to understand that everything cannot be done in the first iteration depending on the timeline. Let's just say we want to roll this out in the next 3 months to the whole organization. In that timeline, these are the things that are feasible. These are the things that may not be feasible, okay? So you want to put that in there in plain and simple format. Again, because we currently don't have a platform in this use case, I added these check boxes so that you can go in here and check these off. You just want to make sure that you're doing, like, you want to copy it, and it should be like a copy of the project. You don't want to make any changes on here and then go in and you can start, checking things off as you go. The high level requirements, this is like permission management and role-based access, which again, I'll go on over in another video where I show you how I would organize things like custom objects and things so that it can be easy to follow, well documented, and most importantly, scalable. All of your documentation, you want it to be scalable, easy to read, because even people with these MBAs and these 3 MBAs and have been in business for 30 years plus, they want something that they can read literally to their spouse that knows nothing about the business. This is what I found out in all my years, and their spouse can actually understand what's going on as well. That has been the biggest part of the feedback. Do not overcomplicate this, okay? Major milestones for me is always getting the actual project approved, period. If you don't get the project approved, then there's no need for this. You have to get the project charter approved. The project charter being approved is the actual project. The use case is there, but if you don't get the project charter approved, then you don't have a project to even start. I can't emphasize that enough. Communications kickoff. So you want to make sure that you have a communications on when people should be looking for that kickoff call. Program launch, like the training for it, I think that's important. Pilot phase and full org rollout completed. These are all, to me, major milestones. Some people go and get more granular than this. I like to, again, have it very, very high level if I can, especially when it's something like a migration. I try to keep it between 4 to 5, and 6 is really a stretch with milestones, because milestones are supposed to be extremely big moments of the project where it's impactful and we're moving the needle forward. Assumptions and constraints. This is something, again, you do want to make the assumptions, because when you're giving this to whoever's going to sign off on it, if your assumptions are wrong, they're going to tell you right then and there. No, all teams currently don't rely on Google Sheets for tracking key operations. Maybe they say IT actually uses Jira. So now you know that, and it's like, oh, wait, so you have Jira. When I originally did the discovery, no one mentioned that. And this is why you want to put those assumptions in there, because even after you do your initial discovery, there are things that may get missed, and this is going to cover your A, okay? And I can't emphasize that enough, because the moment that if you forget something like this, and I always make the assumption about who's using what. You always want to make that broad assumption, because if it's different, then you can pivot and you can go back and recalibrate what actually needs to be done. And even if this is the platform that needs, it needs to be done on. Constraints. Maybe half of the IT is working on an app or something like that, and you don't have the allocated resources that you need in order to get it done in the quarter that you're in. You want to put that in there, because then when you start setting timelines out, when this person signs and they start asking, well, why is it going to take until, I don't know, January of next year to get this done, or December? Oh, because half IT is out. Remember, it's on that project charter. Would you like me to resend that to you just to go over exactly some of the things that I mentioned? You want to always bring up this project charter as the one-stop shop and the single source of truth for the project. Okay, this is not the single source of truth, but the source of truth. Everything else is secondary sources of truth to this. Okay. That is it. Let's just say the budget cap's at $10,000 for rollout and training. This is a constraint because now that we've went through all of the numbers, maybe, hey, we really need $12,000. So there's a $2,000 difference or discrepancy in what we need and what we have. How can we bridge that gap? What can we cut back, or what can we, or what resource can we remove from this project to make up for that difference? So with that being said, you want to do risk and mitigation. This could be very high level. Again, a lot of this stuff is going to be its own living document, but this is, again, the one source of truth that everyone can rely on to be the most up to date. Because let's just say you as a project manager, you get pulled every which way and you don't have a supporting project coordinator to go in and update some of these documentations, these documents, like these standalones. And you are now being able to go, let me go ahead and update this project charter, get this sign off on this because something else happened, or this stakeholder, they wanted me to do this. And again, it's a single source of truth. So you may be able to add a risk. You may be able to add a milestone, something like that. And even if, because what I like to do is I like to link the full risk mitigation sheet. I like to link the full requirement sheet, the full stakeholder sheet, because this is the stakeholders will also be in the stakeholder analysis sheet, because you need to figure out, they're highly impacted, but you also want to add responsible, accountable, so on and so forth. So you want to add your RACI to that as well. So with that being said, the most important thing is inserting a signature. Now, I typically, again, I am working off of free accounts because I am working with organizations that provide me all of this, like these logins and things. If you click on insert, and if you have a premium subscription, you click on e-signature, you're going to be able to actually create an e-signature document. And it's going to give you like the name of the person, their title. You can add things like their title, the date, things like that. And then it's going to ask you their email. You insert their email. It'll automatically send this project charter to them. They'll sign off on it. And the thing I love about that is that it's time stamped. And that's so important for you, because then you can say, if they're like, oh, I didn't sign off on that. Oh, really? Because I have this time stamped, and you don't have to say this. You can be thinking this in your head, but you can say, well, I have this project charter that shows that you signed it on this day at this time. Would you like to go over that? I know you're pretty busy, and maybe you just quickly signed it and didn't give a chance to look at it. We can go over it really quick. So this is, again, something that you can go over and over again. Last point on project charter is, this is when you do your project kickoff call, which is going to include all the stakeholders. So remember, the definition of stakeholder is anyone that could be affected by the change or the implementation of the project, okay? All of the project sponsors, if there's more than one, the person who's signing off and giving you the credit card, that's you. When you hear sponsor, remember, they're the money. All of the project team members, okay? And anyone that the project team member is reporting to, I like to add them as an optional. So if someone on the project team is, I don't know, systems admin, I may add the system admin's director just to have them have visibility and make them an optional guest on the kickoff call. This is something that you need to provide on that kickoff call. You don't have to necessarily go through line by line like I just did, but I would high level highlight the things like, hey, on this project charter, and typically you create a project deck going through everything. Hey, this is what's to be expected, the milestones, this, that, and the third. This is how we're planning on executing on it. These are the due dates, blah, blah, blah. This is the team. Project team, which you typically would already have discussed that the project team, you would have typically already discussed who's going to be in the project team, and you've already informed them before this, so it's not a surprise. But you typically will have all that information living or ready, and you're just basically high leveling it like, hey, I'm going to send out this deck, but also I'm going to send out this project charter, and it can be I would send it out as a PDF, something that they can't change. You really only want to be the only one that can change the project charter. I'm going to send this out to you guys after this meeting. It's going to go over pretty much everything we discussed high level. Please look at this if you have any questions on any changes that you hear. This is going to be the source of truth for the project. So the reason and why the project charter is so important, and I'm going to close it out on this, is because it aligns everyone involved in the project. Okay, both hands-on and hands-off personnel. Okay, so it ensures that if IT feels like they can't get something done, for a good example in this, and they are responsible for it, they can call that out at that moment and say, yeah, originally I know you said in our one-on-one about our what we're responsible for, we will be able to, I don't know, do all of the project integrations. We can't do that anymore because we're going to have 75% of the people out of office for a conference for 5 days. This is when they can address these things. No objections, you're good. Okay. But most importantly, the project sponsor should not have any objections. Okay. I hope that this was helpful. This is something that I truly wish someone sat down and explained to me the importance of when I first started my journey as a project manager, because this has saved me time and time again at most organizations that I have either partnered with, work with directly, or work with indirectly. Until next time, I will see you again. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.